Assalamualaikum and a very good morning, students. How are all of you doing today?
Waalaikumsalam, teacher. Good
Waalaikumsalam,
morning.
teacher. We are doing
We are
good.
good.
Okay, students, first of all, before we start our learning session, I would just like to say welcome back to your own class session. It's so great to see all of you today. Um, so, before I go into any further, can all of you see the picture that I just shared?
Yes, teacher, we can see it.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, that's great. So, can any of you girls explain to me what does a storybook, an essay, a novel, and a biography all have in common?
I think they are narrated.
I also think that
Yes,
they are all in narrated pattern.
exactly. Great job, both of you. Okay, so just like what I've just shown just now, all of those materials, which is an essay, a storybook, novel, and also a biography, are in the form of a narrated pattern. So today we will learn about narrative writing. Before we start, let me show all of you the learning objectives of the day. And please bear in mind that you will need to achieve these objectives by the end of the lesson. Understood?
Okay, teacher.
Okay, teacher. Understood.
Okay, that's great. So, the learning objectives for today's class is that hopefully by the end of the lesson, all of you will be able to write one or two sentences based on the picture sequence given, and all of you will be able to describe or share your own good experiences by implementing the story mapping technique. Okay, dear students, are there any questions that you would like to ask before we start our lesson for today? Any questions that maybe you have before we start our lesson? And is everything clear enough for you? Are you ready to start?
Yes, teacher.
Yes,
So far,
teacher.
so good. And I'm ready for the
We are
class.
ready to go.
Okay, that's very great to hear. Before that, I would just like to ask, have all of you prepared a pen, a paper, or a notebook beside you? If so, please do not forget to jot down anything that is important for you so that later on you can revise on what I've just taught.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, so dear students, do you know that the storybooks and novels that most of you enjoy are in the form of a narrative writing?
Teacher, what is exactly mean by narrative writing?
Okay, well, I'll go into that in further. First, let me explain to all of you what is narrative writing, and I'll also be sharing all of you some techniques that you can use to write eloquently. Okay, so before we go any further, all of you must know what is narrative writing. So here are a few key points for all of you to ensure that you fully understand what this narrative means. So firstly, a narrative is a form of writing that tells a story. Narratives have five different elements, which is plot, setting, character, conflict, and also theme. And the third key point is that narrative can be an essay, it could also be fairy tales, movies, jokes, and etc. And for the fourth key point is that usually writers use this narrative style, any chronological order, a point of view, and other strategies to tell a story. So, since all of you already know basically what narrative writing is, I'll be teaching all of you the most used technique in narrative writing, which is the story mapping technique. So as you can see from the screen, the story mapping techniques looks exactly like this. It could be any different, but mostly people will use this kind of technique. Personally, I think that most students use this technique as they find that it is much easier for them to visualize what you want to write rather than blindly writing whatever that comes through your mind or thought. So this is especially helpful for those who are more visually than verbally oriented and have a tough time with traditional outlines. So there are six different sections in the story mapping. The first one is the exposition, and the exposition is when you have to tell the background information about the protagonist in normal life. So the protagonist could be anybody. It could be a character that you like. It could be your own experience. It could be anything as long as you know what you want to write. Whereas for the conflict, it is something that happens that creates a problem for the protagonist. So the conflict could be a good problem or a bad problem. But as we all know, problem doesn't necessarily mean something good. So moving on to the third section, which is the rising action. So for this part, it is mostly based on the sequence of events that happen as a result of the conflict. So these usually get more intense over time. Whereas for the fourth section, which is the climax, it is one of the most exciting part of the story, which is the turning point. So I would highlight that in your story, you have to focus on the climax as well because it is what intrigues your readers to read what you write. For the fifth section, which is the falling action, it occurs. The events occurs after the climax. So right after you tell your stories about the climax, it happens in the falling action. So moving on to the resolution, which is the end story of your writing, it is considered to be the loose ends that is tied up, and it also shows a peak of how things have changed. Okay, so to give all of you a better picture of how the story mapping technique works in your narrative writing, I'll share with all of you an example of a sentence that has been used using the story mapping technique titled An Unforgettable Experience with a Frog. Can I have Azarifa to read out the exposition, conflict, and rising action sample? And followed by Daya. Can you please read out the climax, falling action, and resolution sentence, please?
Sure, teacher. Should I read it now? Okay, I will read it now. Okay, so for the exposition, parents never let me stay home alone, but one night the babysitter cancels and they have to. Everything starts off fine. I'm having a great time. The conflict comes in when I see a frog in the hall. I am totally afraid of frogs, so I freak out. The rising action, I hide from it. I try and fail to trap it in a trash can. I try and fail to get it into a bag.
Thank you so much, Azarifa. Okay, so Hidayah, you may start now.
Okay, for the climax, I chase the frog out of the house with a tennis racket. Falling action, I spend the rest of the night cleaning up my mess. I get into pajamas and watch TV. My parents come home. Happy that things seems okay. My parents plan another outing. I consider asking to not be left alone. Then realize the frog incident showed me I'm stronger than I thought.
It's very great of both of you. Well done. Okay, so class, I hope that you understand now how does the story mapping technique works.
Yes, teacher, I can see the flow now on how we should write something.
Me too, teacher.
That's very great to hear. Okay, students, I hope that all of you know how the story mapping technique works, so that you can use it in your narrative writing. Okay, so that's all from me. Now I will pass on the next session to teacher Alia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, teacher Sofia. Give her a big clap. Okay, good job. Okay, now students, to test your understanding, we will now proceed with our activity time. Are you do you like activity? Or you want to
Yes,
study
teacher.
only?
We are so excited.
Yes, good job. Okay, now to test your understanding, we will do an activity. Can you see the picture on the PowerPoint? Teacher Sofia, can you show the picture? Okay, so can you see the picture?
Yes, teacher.
Teacher,
Okay, so the activity that I want you to do is I want you to write two sentences about the picture. You can use what we already learned before, which is story.
Story mapping technique.
okay.
Yes, story mapping technique. Okay, so now, Azarifa, you will write a sentence for exposition and conflict, while Hidayah, you will write for climax and resolution. Can you do that?
Okay, teacher. Should we write it in the chat box?
Yes, you need to write it on the chat box. I will give
Okay.
around 5 minutes for you to think of the sentence and write on the chat box. Okay?
Okay, teacher.
Okay, thank
Okay,
you.
teacher.
Thank you.
Okay, you may start now.
It's Toby.
I had always heard your entire life flashes in front of your eyes the second before you die. First of all, that 1 second isn't a second at all. It stretches on forever, like an ocean of time.
Okay, I've seen Azal already post her answers. Okay, so we will wait for Hidayah. Once everyone finish, we will start. Okay. Okay.
Like an ocean of time. It stretches on forever, like an ocean of time.
Okay, everyone already wrote their answers. Okay, you finished 2 minutes early than the targeted time. So give yourself a big clap. Okay, so now we should start with Ada. Can you read your sentence? So we will see is
Wait.
it right or wrong, okay?
Okay. Okay, so for the exposition, which is the beginning of the story, a boy was walking on the street with an airplane toy in his hand. And then the conflict comes in when suddenly he saw his friends across the street and decided to go to them without checking the surrounding on the road.
Okay, now we will hear Hidayah first and then I will give my comments, okay? Hidayah, can you unmute your mic and read from climax to resolution? Okay, thank you, Azza.
Okay, for the climax, a blazing red car who did not see him had hit him. The resolution is, does he need to be hospitalized for a very long time due to the injuries?
Okay, thank you, Hidayah. So, as you can see from, we will check Azarifa's sentence first, okay? So, the first sentence, a boy was walking on the street with an airplane toy in his hand. So, can you see which part of it is wrong actually? She wrote with, she spelled with WIH. I think that it is typo or something. But then during examination, you shouldn't do things like this, okay? Because it will,
Sorry.
yes, okay, it's okay because it will deduct your marks, okay? Okay, it's okay. We makes mistakes, so it is okay, okay? So next, suddenly he saw his friends across the street and decided to go to them without checking the surrounding on the road. This sentence is good, so give her a big clap. Okay. So now, okay, climax. A blazing red car who did not see him had hit him. Okay, so Hidayah, when you start a sentence, you need to start with the bigger A. So this sentence is a little bit wrong, but it is okay. Okay, you need to make sure that when you start a,
Okay, teacher,
yeah,
I will do that again.
okay, it's okay. Okay, thank you. Okay. Next, resolution. Does he need to be hospitalized for a very long time due to the injuries? Okay, overall, everyone did a great job. So give yourself a big clap. Okay. 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 Okay, now we've already finished our first activities. Do you enjoy it? Do you
Yes.
enjoy it? Yes, you do enjoy it?
We had so much fun.
Yes, good job. You need to have fun while doing these activities, okay? So now, since all of you enjoyed the first activity, we'll proceed with another activities. Okay, so now teacher Sofia, can you show the second slide? Okay, so the second activity is let's interact. Based on our topic, which is experience, I want both of you to share one of your good experiences. You can plan your story using the what we had learned, which is what we had learned today, Hidayah.
Story mapping technique.
Okay, good job. Okay, so we will learn. We will. You need to use the story mapping technique in planning your story. Okay. So I will afterwards I will call one by one. I think I will call Hidayah first and then Azarifa. Okay, so you can plan your story. I will give around 3 minutes for you to think of your sentence. Okay.
Okay, teacher.
Okay, you may start now. Okay, time is up, everyone. Are you guys? Are you students ready?
Yes, teacher, we are
Yes,
ready.
teacher. We
Yes,
are
good
ready.
job. Okay. Okay, now I would like to have Hidayah first. Can you read your story first?
Okay, teacher. I will read my text. Last weekend, me and my family went to a very beautiful waterfall. It was only a stone's throw away from my house. We reached the waterfall after approximately 20 minutes of traveling from our house. However, we were very shocked to see so many people at the beach, at the waterfall. Thus, we decided to keep looking for a place with less people there. We were so happy to find a very beautiful place with a crystal clear water. We played in the water for 3 hours before we decided to pack and go home.
Okay, thank you, Hidayah. You spent 3 hours in the water. Oof. Are you supposed to be cold or something? Oh, that.
Yes, teacher, I spent about 3 hours, but then I think I wanted to spend more, but then
Oh, you
it's enough.
wanted to spend more? Oh, okay. I think we should go to a waterfall later. One day we will go together. Then we can spend more time there. Okay?
Sure. Okay, sure.
Okay, thank you. Good job, Hidayah. Now we will have Azarifa, can you tell your story?
Yes, teacher, of course. Okay, so last year, my story is last year actually when the pandemic is not so critical. I mean, when we are still free to go somewhere where we want. So my family and I went to an amusement park. So my sister and I were very happy because we have been waiting for that time to go to an amusement park. Then, when we reach our destination after like a few hours of driving, we arrive at the amusement park, and my sister and I were having so much fun playing many games there, the water games, everything lah. And then uh but something happened. I mean, uh if we go back to the story mapping technique, it's the conflict part. It happens when after we had so much fun and then we went for a lunch break. I realized that uh my smartphone was missing. Okay. So I was so frustrated, I was so disappointed, and then I was so scared too actually because it was my first phone. So when it was missing, I was like so disappointed. And then I told my parents in despair. I was crying so bad when I told them that my phone was missing. And then it was like a miracle when just like in a few minutes after I told my parents that my phone was missing, uh, my father uh, got a call from my number. So I quickly asked him to pick up the call, like, Daddy, you pick up the call, hurry up, like that. Okay, then when he picked up the call, there was a stranger talking to the phone, telling that he found the phone somewhere outside an amusement park. And then when my father asked where, turned out it was actually the at the amusement park that we were there at that time. So we quickly asked the man to just wait at the gate of the amusement park, and we went there to meet him. So when we meet him, I was so happy that it was actually my phone, and I was very grateful to him that he was being honest. You know, he called the number, my father's number, and told us that the phone was with him. So I was so grateful to him. I thank him like I can say like thousands of times. I thank him, and yeah, I was so grateful. I was so happy, and then after that day, I was every time we go anywhere, I've been more careful with any belongings that I have. So I think that was my experience, my happy experience, but at the same time, I can say that it was a little bit frightening because I was so frightened at that time when I realized that, oh, where is my phone? Where is my phone? So yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you, teacher.
I think
Oh,
it was a bittersweet experience for us all.
yes,
Like
because
some kind like that.
yes, because you're supposed to feel happy, but then you get those mixed feelings because you are in an amusement park, but at the same time your phone went missing. You don't know whether you have to enjoy the activity or cry instead. Okay, so I think I really want to go to those amusement park, ride those roller coaster, but I think we really need to take care of our belongings because we probably wouldn't met someone like him in this another time. Okay, right? So yeah, make sure that you keep all of your belongings. Okay. So I think that both of you done a really good job. I could say that there is a few grammar mistakes, but then it is okay because we're trying to improve ourselves, right? So what I want to highlight is that it is very good that you use the story mapping technique that teacher Sofia had taught you just now. Okay, what the first mapping technique, the first thing on the story mapping technique, you call it what?
Exposition.
Exposition, and then
Position.
and then
And then the rise. Oh no, the
no, the
conflict first.
conflict, the conflict part, and then
Yeah. And then the rising
The
action.
rising action.
yes, then after the rising action,
The
Mm,
climax.
climax.
oh yeah,
Yes,
right.
and then we end with a
Resolution.
resolution. Okay, I think you both of you already done a very good job, and I think you could probably write a book now. Okay, so since you are so good. Okay, so now do you enjoy our class today? Do you enjoy the activity we just had just now?
Yes, teacher. I
You
really
enjoy
Teacher,
enjoyed.
it?
we
Good
had
job.
so much fun today.
Good job. Both of you also did so great today. Okay, so I think we have to afraid I am afraid that we have to end our class today. What I'm saying, okay? Teacher Sophia, do you have anything to say? Maybe last word, maybe?
Yes. First of all, I just want to say I'm so proud of all of you today because you guys managed to learn very quickly about the story mapping technique and what basically narrative writing means. And also, I love how interactive you are in the activities that Teacher Alia just did with all of you. And I think all I wanted to say is that I truly am grateful and thank you for your great cooperation today. I hope that all of you truly enjoyed our class and also activity session. And please stay safe and hopefully we can meet again next time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. Now that you already learned about narrative writing, I want you to apply it on your writing, on your write whether you want to write a journal or a diary. I want you to apply it on it, okay?
Okay, teacher.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you
teacher,
Yeah.
I will
everyone.
try it for sure.
Okay, I think we have to end our class now till we meet again. Okay, bye.
Thank you so much, teacher Arya and teacher
Bye.
Sophia. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, teacher.
You're welcome.